I have a lot of things I want to get off my chest.
Well, enough is enough, and it's time for a change.
Finally, The Rock has come back. I hate this idea that you're the best.
And if you're not down with that, we got two words for ya!
I'm the best in the world.
I fight at WrestleMania for the very, very small percentage of people that walk this planet and say I am proud to be, I'm sorry, a professional wrestler.
Oops, I'm breaking the fourth wall.
It's Podcast of the Immortals with your hosts, Matt Bush and Jimmy Bellamy.
All right, welcome to episode 15 of Podcast of the Immortals. I'm Matt Bush.
And I'm a very tired Jimmy Bellamy.
Yes. You want to tell why you're tired, Jimmy?
Oh, I fell asleep. Matt was late. No. I don't know. Long day and laid down for a little bit. Made that fatal mistake of taking a quick nap, and I'm still foggy. So this will be interesting. I'm waking up right now.
Ready to go.
and it's, yeah, you know that feeling? I think everybody has it when you wake up and you're not quite all there. It's taking me a little longer than normal to answer questions.
Well, they say you need 90 minutes to have a REM cycle. Mm-hmm. And they say if you have a nap less than 90 minutes, you don't really get much out of it.
Are these the same people who say SmackDown is non-canon?
No, I don't know. But yeah, so maybe you didn't have the full REM cycle to
yeah, no chance. I mean, yeah, I think I laid down about an hour ago. Yeah, so this will be a great show.
It will be a great show. And why? Why, Jimmy?
Because I'm goofy, and I didn't see Extreme Rules.
Yes,
and I get to listen like a lot of you. I'm excited because I didn't look at anything other than results, and then I forgot some of the results until Raw, and then even after watching Raw, some of the stuff didn't even really get touched on. So I'm excited to hear what you thought of Extreme Rules.
Yeah, well, that's what we're gonna start off the show with. We're gonna go over the card on Extreme Rules, kind of break down what happened, give you our ideas of how we thought it was, and then we'll. Excuse me, I'm having a little mug root beer burp there.
It'll do that. It'll bite you.
Oh yeah, it's got bite, right?
Barks doesn't, but mug does.
Mug does. I don't know. Whatever. And then we'll go over a up and down Raw from Monday. It's a little weird. A couple big highlights, but then I don't know. It was a weird Raw for me.
Yeah. It was.
But yeah, that's how we're gonna do. We don't got a top 10 this week. With the pay-per-view, we're gonna cover that a lot, so we'll probably take up most of the time with that stuff. All right, so we'll get into the Extreme Rules pay-per-view. Good card. Kicked off with a pre-show on YouTube with The Miz defeating Cody Rhodes to the figure 4 leg lock. It was an okay match. I mean, it is what it is. Mm-hmm. We don't have to spend too much time on it.
Did Cody at least look good in defeat?
He looked okay. It is what it is. It was a pre-show match. They didn't really put a lot of effort into it.
But they gave him that rebound victory the next night against Zack Ryder.
Indeed. Because that's what Ryder is good for. So we'll get into the actual card on the match. And started off with Chris Jericho defeating Fandango. This was actually a pretty solid match, I thought. Jericho got Fandango into the walls, and Fandango got out of it, and Fandango got a few moves in, and he went for, I don't know what he was going for, a flying headbutt or something, but Jericho got up and hit him with the code breaker from the top rope when he was jumping for the pin. I thought it was a really good finish. Pretty good at back and forth action. Fandango kind of messed up a few moves, which he tends to do, I've noticed. But a pretty solid match to start the evening. Although it was weird for me, they started the first match with no stipulation on Extreme Rules. It was just a straight wrestling match.
That does seem a little odd.
Yeah, you'd think they want to get right into...
And correct me if I'm wrong, but when they first had Extreme Rules, I don't know, was it 5 years ago? Roughly 4 years ago?
You know better than I would.
I thought every match... Because I think it was spawned from One Night Stand. and I think every match by default had ECW rules where, there really wasn't a DQ.
Yeah.
And that matches went on, and you could use objects and everything. And then I remember, and I could be way off, but I remember like 3 years ago watching a pay-per-view and seeing that, there's a standard match. And they've kind of rolled with that from now on.
Yeah, it was weird, but there was so many. I think there was like 7 or 8 matches on this card, all pretty good, well booked, and and there were only so many stipulations you can have during these matches, and I feel like they covered a lot of it. So they probably were just like, well, do we need another Extreme Rules match for Fandango? Let's just see him wrestle. I think that's probably what they were going for.
So are you saying that there won't be a Fandango Sin Cara match anytime soon when it comes to botches?
Botchamania? I could see that on Botchamania, but probably not anytime soon in the ring. Sin Cara's supposed to be back, by the way.
I know, and I didn't know if he was on SmackDown this past week. That's sitting on my DVR.
Yeah, I don't believe he was. I think I kind of flew through that. But yeah, so look forward for Sin Cara. Our second match of the night was a pretty good one. It was Dean Ambrose defeating Kofi Kingston. Again, no stipulation in this match, but Dean Ambrose wins his first gold in the WWE with the U.S. Championship.
Was Shield at ringside for this match?
No, they left. He won cleanly. There was no interference, no doubt about it that he is the champion, and he defeated Kofi Kingston with no help.
So did they leave? Were they kicked out, or why did they leave?
No, they just left. Dean was like, "Hey, this is my time." And then when he won, the Shield came back out and celebrated with him with his championship gold, and this was the photo that they tweeted out afterwards.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool photo. We actually tweeted it out as well. So really, it was a solid match again. It wasn't anything special, but the moment was special because he knew that Dean, this was his moment, to get that first gold in the W, in the logo.
I suppose we didn't really touch on. Did we tell people why I wasn't? People are probably like, why didn't you watch the pay-per-view? You didn't do your job.
Right.
You had one job. I was in Chicago, and initially the plan was to get back in enough time to watch the pay-per-view with you and with Andy, and plans changed, and I ended up staying an extra night, so I didn't make it in time for the PPV, and made it back home in enough time to catch Raw on a little bit of a delay on the DVR, which is always great because it's commercial free.
Commercial free.
And I didn't look at live results, and I purposely waited until the end of the night so I could have that to look forward to. That sounds so funny, but I was excited for that. And then I read the results. At first I read a guy's reaction to the results, but he didn't give the results. He just talked about what he thought of each performer. And then even when I read the results, I think they skipped a few because I remember watching Raw thinking, who won the Del Rio Swagger match? So I'm excited for Payback because it has been, you look at how long it was between WrestleMania.
Yeah, we didn't have WrestleMania.
And Extreme Rules.
Yeah, it's been...
I think the last... we saw Elimination Chamber last together, so it'll be another, 3 weeks?
Yeah, that was February. It's June 16th, I believe, is the next pay-per-view, so...
I will be present and accounted for.
All right.
So I hope I have an excused absence from the listeners.
We'll need a note from your teacher or something.
Yeah,
parents.
We'll get that too.
Yeah. So again, solid match. Nothing spectacular. Solid. The moment was the best part of it, and them celebrating in the ring was a really cool moment as well.
Did they get a lot of cheers?
I'm trying to remember. I feel like they got a few cheers, a lot more than a normal heel would. Mm-hmm. So that was cool. Next, we had our first stipulation match. That was a strap match between Sheamus and Mark Henry. And like we called it, Sheamus miraculously defeats the big monster who everyone thought would win. It was okay. I thought it'd be a little better. I thought there'd be a lot more whipping, especially how they played up the belt whipping, earlier. They didn't really use the belt a lot, but they did some cool stuff. Like Sheamus was on the outside, and Henry couldn't really do anything because he was just bouncing around on the outside, hitting him. And then he finally pulled him over, and then I think Sheamus had him wrapped around the pole at one point. And I don't know, it was just a weird match because it's hard to get any flow going because you're stuck together. And I just thought they would be a little more inventive with what they were going to do with the strap. But what happened was Mark Henry was dragging Sheamus around, hitting each corner. But Sheamus was right behind him, just hitting it. He didn't realize that Sheamus was going around and hitting him right after he did. So Sheamus had 3. Mark Henry realized it, turns around and gets hit with a bro kick. And then he hits the final corner to win. So it was okay. It could have been better.
Henry wasn't on Raw. Did he get hurt?
I doubt it. They didn't do a lot of physical stuff.
They're just going to try to sell an injury, or
I highly doubt they're trying to do anything with an injury. Just probably didn't have time. There wasn't much Cena on Monday either.
No.
So I don't know. Maybe focusing on other people. Okay, so that was that. It wasn't anything special, like I said. The next one, it was a number one contenders match, I Quit match between Swagger and Del Rio. Now this one was bizarre. It was actually a pretty good match. Like they were hitting each other with kendo sticks and doing everything they could, and then, what was it, Swagger? I think he had the ankle lock on Del Rio. And Del Rio's like, no, I don't quit. And Ricardo Rodriguez has a towel, and he's getting ready to throw it in, and he decides not to. Well, Coulter grabs the towel and throws it in and runs away, making it look like Ricardo Rodriguez threw it. Mike Chioda, the ref, rings for the bell, saying that, okay, he's done, which is weird because it wasn't a submission match. It wasn't like Bret Hart. And was it Bob Backlund, I think, or something like that?
Oh, God, now you're testing me. I think so. Yeah, Bob Backlund always had the towel.
Yeah.
And I think that was a match involving them.
I could be wrong. But that match was actually, that was the stipulation. Someone had to throw it in. They had the family members and stuff. This one, it's an I Quit match. The guy has to say, I quit. Not because some friend of his threw a towel into the match. So Jack Swagger is announced as the winner. All of a sudden, another ref comes out, says, no, this didn't happen. Mike Chioda goes under the hood like an NFL referee onto a replay.
That's so bizarre.
Restarts the match after he sees what happens, and Del Rio gets the cross-arm bar, beats Swagger, becomes a new number one contender.
So does Swagger say I quit then at that point? Okay.
He does say I quit.
Did they have the mic at least?
Yeah.
Okay. That's so weird. Did they at all give any mention as to why they were going to start using video replay?
No.
So strange.
And I think JBL was really confounded by it. What is happening here? And people are saying this is going to set a bad precedent. People are going to be wondering why we're not going to video replay when other crap happens. It seems just really convenient when they want to use it.
And they'll easily forget it. They'll act like it never happened for future matches.
Maybe, they're trying to be more like a big sports show, like with the pre-shows and post-show. Maybe they're going, getting video replay. Maybe they'll have cheerleaders soon. I don't know. Funkadactyls.
They do have the Funkadactyls.
Yeah. So it was really bizarre, but now I could see Jack Swagger kind of having a claim saying, hey, I should have won that. Video replay is not even a thing. I don't know how I got screwed out of this. I won in that match. And then they could have their triple threat match that they had planned for, what was it called? No Way Out? Or
Payback is the next one.
So maybe we could get that ladder match still next month.
Will Ziggler even be ready, though? That's the question. I mean, he's tweeting up a storm, but nothing has been said about his status.
It's when I heard memory loss, I got really worried. I hope he's okay.
I'd like to see him back just because he's one of their top performers with or without the belt, and to have that match be completely changed with him out of it, going from a triple threat ladder match to an I Quit match, to me doesn't even make sense. There's no way that they couldn't have just booked a ladder match with the two people who were left in it, especially with both of them having guys on the outside to help and get involved. Which, not to get too far ahead of us, but after seeing Raw, I couldn't help but think about what you had said about Big E and him kind of inserting himself into that feud and having a claim at the title. So, I mean, we could touch on that after if you want, but it looks like they might go that route.
Big E should be in that scene, I think, sooner rather than later, and I thought they had the perfect opportunity. Maybe they can still find a logical way for him to get in there, but it would be like kind of weird right now.
I guess it all depends on when Ziggler comes back, too.
That too. Robert Flores tweeted out, "Well, it's official. The WWE has a better replay system than Major League Baseball." Right after that match.
Maybe that's why they did it too, because baseball's been taking heat the last couple of weeks. Yeah, that might be why.
The home runs, I still can't.
I was at a Cubs Mets game on Sunday, not to brag, and
where at?
And it was at Wrigley Field. Oh. But I can't remember who the player was now. I think it was. I think the guy wore number 6. I can't even remember now, and I can't even remember who number 6 is on the Cubs. Doesn't matter. They're as bad as the Twins right now. But he had a triple, and I was parked way up high on the first base line, and even from there, you could see in real time that he was safe, and they called him out. And even on the replay, when you saw the replay, he was clearly safe. And I don't know if they gave David Wright the call because he's David Wright, or if the ump really thought the guy was safe or out. But they called him out even though he was safe, and it was, I mean, one of quite a few calls in the last couple of weeks that baseball has had wrong. And I could see WWE, not necessarily because of that Cubs game from earlier in that day, but I could see them kind of taking a shot at I mean, because they had, I think they went big with the refs during the football lockout, didn't they? They did something with the refs.
They had a walkout with the wrestlers.
No, not a ref walkout at the time, but during the NFL, or when the refs were on strike.
Yeah.
I thought WWE did something related to refs.
Maybe.
But maybe it's me just waking up from that nap. I don't know.
Possibly. It was. I mean, the match wasn't even that great. I thought it'd be a little better. It would have been 10 times better with the Ziggler ladder match, I think. You know, I love ladder matches, and I was really disappointed we didn't get to see that one.
It's one of my favorite stipulations.
Yeah. So yeah, we'll see what happens there. It kind of looks like they're going to the triple threat again. So maybe we'll get that match still.
Still no discipline for Swagger, at least. I mean, he's still... I didn't think that, 8 weeks removed from WrestleMania? Close
10
to
weeks.
10 weeks? Jeez.
Or no, has it? No.
I don't think it's been 10.
No, I'm sorry, 6 weeks.
But either way, I did not see him still relevant at this point based on what happened with his arrest. But what do you know?
You know, smoke him if you got him, right?
Yeah.
Okay, our next match was what I thought was probably the best wrestled match of the night, and that was the Shield versus Roman Reigns and Seth Rollins of the Shield defeating Team Hell No to become the WWE Tag Team Champions. This was after an 8-month reign by Team Hell No.
A quiet 8-month reign as well.
It's a pretty memorable reign.
It was, but I'm saying it was sneaky. I can't believe that it was 8 months.
Yeah.
I mean, really, I remember looking back, I think around WrestleMania and looking at the tag title history, and only then did I realize that they had the titles as long as they had.
Yeah.
I mean, it looked early into that reign when they teased a breakup that it wasn't going to last, but they kept winning, and I can think of a few pay-per-views where I thought they certainly weren't walking out with the gold, and they did. This one, to me, and tell me if it looked like it when you watched it, but this to me looked like a foregone conclusion, especially with Ambrose in a title match as well. I thought it was a given that the Shield would win.
Well, I mean, we picked it. I picked it in our pool that we do. I definitely thought it was their time to win it, and the way they won it was pretty good. I think it's going to lead to a split of Team Hell No. Finally, they're going to have that feud because Daniel Bryan, I believe, took the pin. You know, Kane. Anytime Team Hell No has lost 3-on-3 or whatever, it's usually Bryan who takes the loss. Kane, I could see getting frustrated about that, saying, you know, he should be the tag team champion still. So that could lead to their split, hopefully leading on to bigger and better for Daniel Bryan and whatever happens for Kane now. But yeah, the Shield wins. Dean Ambrose comes out to celebrate with them. Awesome photo with all three belts, you know, in the middle of the ring, ushering in a new era basically for the WWE. Really, really cool. Times they are a-changing, Jim Ross tweeted out. So yeah, I bet we'll get a rematch probably next pay-per-view, but I definitely think the Shield's just going to win that match and go on to a pretty good reign. So yeah, it was a really good wrestle match like you expect from a Shield match as well.
And I'll tell you what, we'll get into it with our Raw recap, but I was impressed with the Raw match that involved the Shield and how, not just how long it went, but how solid it was throughout. I mean, there really wasn't
spot with Danny Bryan and Kofi when they both jumped out of the ring.
Yes, yeah, that was very cool. And the way it was sold by it was Ambrose who got hit by Bryan, and who did Kofi hit? Was it Rollins?
Probably Rollins. Yeah.
Just the way they reacted to it too was very cool.
Oh yeah, they sold the crap out of it. I love Ambrose. He's like against the back of the mat.
And then he came in not long after that and got hit by Kane. He got like that chop like under the throat, and he sold that really well too. I think they have very good chemistry with. I'd like to say at this point with whoever they're with, but especially with Kane and Bryan, and even when the Undertaker was involved a little bit too.
Danny Bryan can have a good match with a potato, you know.
Yeah.
It's incredible what he can do, and it's always like limited time. Like he's always just flying around, trying to get his spots in as quickly as possible because he knows he's only out there for a couple of minutes.
Yeah, he's deceptively fast too because he sometimes looks like a little burly, but he still manages. I don't know if it's the beard or what, but he's still very quick.
Yeah. So very cool moment. I love that Shield moment.
Are they going to be able to be bad though? I mean, I think they'll pick up some steam unless they do something. They being WWE to kind of bring that heat back on them. I see the way the crowd reacts to them, and of course, entering through the crowd, they get a lot of pats on the back, a lot of attaboys, and it'll be interesting to see if they're able to keep these guys as bad guys.
I think there's a difference between. I'm trying to think of like a bad guy who people don't really care, like Swagger. You don't hear the common smart cheering for Swagger because he's a douchebag. He's a F up and all that, you know. Like, I would never cheer for Swagger, even though I tend to cheer for the heels. The Shield I cheer for because they're so spectacular in the ring. I just want them to have success, you know? Like, I'm entertained by them, so I cheer for them. Swagger, I would never do that because I really don't care to see him on my television.
Yeah, you're right. And I think knowing what work the guys from the Shield have put in, and this might not be fair because we aren't there, but Jack Swagger to me has seemed like a guy who doesn't really care if he's there or not, and I think that he has given that impression to others as well, that he's just kind of there, and that's not something that doesn't make it difficult to root against a guy like that. And I mean, not that I wish him ill or anything like that, but yeah, he can be a bad guy, and they will get the reaction that they want from us because we will treat them as such.
Yeah. Like, I can't imagine anyone buying a Swagger t-shirt. You know? Like, anyone.
Wait, like now or
Maybe
even the
ironically.
All-American American?
No, just ever.
That's true. It is funny though. Every once in a while, you'll see somebody sporting a certain wrestler's shirt in the crowd. You're like, really? You spent your $35 on that guy?
I wonder, like, if they just do it just to get that reaction, like
Maybe to stand out.
Yeah, I don't know.
Like, look at me, I'm in a Jinder Mahal t-shirt.
Yeah. How do you like my Cody Rhodes t-shirt or something?
I would get a Cody Rhodes t-shirt.
I like Cody Rhodes, but I don't think I'd spend $35 on a t-shirt.
That's true.
Yeah.
You got me there.
Okay, we had another stipulation match up next. Extreme Rules match between Randy Orton and Big Show. Randy Orton wins.
With the punt.
And the crowd went crazy for it. So I don't think he can even turn heel if he wanted to at this point. But I thought that was really cool. It was nice to see him bring that back finally. I don't know why he had gone away from it. He was even punting CM Punk at WrestleMania 27 when he was the face. So I don't know if it was outlawed or what was going on there, but punt had been gone for a long time.
The only thing I can figure is that it's because of the awareness of concussions and the concern. I mean, we just had the whole Swagger Ziggler thing happen with the kick to the head, whether that was, partially unintentional, I don't know. But I just remember all of a sudden realizing that Orton wasn't doing the punt anymore. I think this was within the last year plus. And this sounds so funny, but I was playing SmackDown versus Raw 2011, and I would do that a lot with Orton. And then I never played WWE 12, then I played 13, and he doesn't do it in 13. I mean, maybe you can give it to him. Like, I don't know if it's even a move that they have listed, but it's not a default move for him. Weird. So then I realized, on TV he's not doing it. So. Yeah.
I tweeted out during this, I go, I wonder if Orton ever hits an RKO out of somewhere. It's always out of nowhere.
Yeah. Well, and that's funny that you said the Jericho Codebreaker, because those are the two moves that really can be done anywhere. And you see people on the video games again, whether it's WWE All-Stars or 12 and 13, where they'll pull those out from anywhere. Guys are flying all over the place, and boom. Codebreaker, boom,
yeah,
RKO.
I love the Codebreaker.
I do too. The RKO is sweet, although it took me a while to get used to that because it was such a DDP type move for a while. I mean, really, it's the same thing as the Diamond Cutter, except they both have their little stylistic twist to it. But
it was this match. This was one of the one of the matches I was least looking forward to. It actually was pretty good.
The one of the summaries I read said that was that person's match of the night.
Really?
And going into it, I know exactly what you're saying. I looked at this as kind of like that Sheamus Mark Henry match, although that had the strap stipulation. I saw it as nothing to advance a storyline, just kind of a match. And
I think they're building Orton.
I can't help but see that. That's very clear.
He hasn't lost in about a month, I think, at least. And he's winning convincingly over pretty solid guys. I mean, Big Show doesn't take a lot of clean losses. He just doesn't, because it's not believable for him to lose.
Orton, he's one of the few guys that they can recycle. And I don't even want to say recycle. That doesn't do him justice. He's still tremendous, and he's young, and he has the look. But he's a guy that they need to inject back into that main event scene to give it more life. If Ryback can win the title, and I'd like to see Randy Orton go for the WWE title, to feud with Cena, to get involved with Ryback and anybody else who's going for that title, instead of the World Heavyweight Championship. Sometimes when these guys get so wrapped up in the world title. Now, granted, Ziggler is on Raw a lot, and he's kind of a Raw guy, even though they don't have a roster split. When Orton was last World Heavyweight Champion, and in that feud, it was kind of almost a SmackDown-centric feud with Big Show, Mark Henry, and eventually Daniel Bryan, and Sheamus. I want to see him fight for the WWE Championship. I want him to be that guy that Cena is right now, that they just go crazy for. And even when he's a heel, he's going to get a strong reaction.
Mm-hmm.
There are still going to be people who cheer the heck out of him, but the people who loathe him will loathe him as a bad guy. And I think he is exactly what they need right now for TV, and he could have a huge summer run.
Yeah. I've never been a big Orton fan, but last month or two, he's actually looked really like he's not going through the motions anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It appears like he's actually trying, which he hadn't for a while.
Yeah.
It looked like he kind of didn't give a shit, to be honest.
I got on the Orton train in I believe the year was 2009 when he had that feud with Triple H, where he was that sadistic, bizarre psycho guy that was kind of stalking and taunting Stephanie McMahon.
Mm-hmm.
And that was, to me, great TV and great wrestling TV. The reaction that they were able to get from me watching that, I couldn't miss those Raws because I wanted to see what Triple H was going to do. I wanted to hate Orton, and I remember as a 27, 28-year-old man, like loudly cheering at the TV when Orton got his comeuppance, and it was that's what they want. That's what they'll do when they succeed, is they will get that reaction from you where you will, suspend your disbelief. And I know Orton is capable of that again.
That was WrestleMania 25, correct?
That would be, 4 years ago.
Okay.
That would have been.
Cool. Next, not the main event, surprisingly, Cena versus Ryback in a last man standing match for the WWE Championship.
And were you correct in, it was you who said it was 3 years since Cena or Punk weren't in the main event?
There was one, SummerSlam of last year, it was Brock versus Triple H in the main event. But it had been 32 pay-per-views. 31 out of 32 had ended with a Cena or CM Punk match, or both.
Mm-hmm.
And this was the second in 33 times.
Wow.
So almost 3 years, only the third time this has happened.
So,
Or second time.
When I look at this, and is it anything other than this, I see Triple H saying, I'm going on last. Do you think it's that, or is it something else?
It's probably that. Like, I think it was built... people were interested in the match, but it's one we'd seen twice already.
Yeah.
I don't think it should have been the main event. I think the Ryback match should have been... Notice I say Ryback, not Cena,
Yeah.
but I think the Ryback match should have been on last. WWE Championship should be on last, regardless of what's going on. Unless it's like an Undertaker streak match against Stone Cold Steve Austin or something like that at WrestleMania. Like, or the Shawn Michaels match at 26. I understand. But the title should go on last.
You know how I feel about the title, and you know that, to me, I can't even take the World Heavyweight Championship seriously when it comes to being compared to the WWE Championship. What this told me was that Ryback is irrelevant.
Mm-hmm.
And it took any steam out of what he was able to do to Cena on Sunday night. Just like what Triple H did on Monday took the steam out of what other people were doing. Mm-hmm. And it put the focus on him, which, to me, the only time the focus should be on him from this point on, if he's not going to be an everyday wrestler, which clearly he isn't, he needs to be the heel authority figure. And that's the only way I will take him seriously. Mm-hmm. Other than that, I just see a guy who wants people to look at him, and it's unfortunate because there may be writers saying, look, this is what's going to happen, but you can't help but get the impression that it's just him saying, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
And Vince saying, well, okay.
I get that impression as well. Now the Ryback match versus Cena, it was pretty good. Mm-hmm. I was really impressed, actually. And like, Cena took some bumps. He got thrown through a table with a reverse, I don't know what it's called, like a fall away reverse through the bottom of the table, like right by where all the metal is, and that looked pretty brutal. And your favorite thing happened. Cena took out the fire extinguisher and sprayed Ryback down, and I couldn't help but thinking about you there.
Awesome.
And
kind of makes me tingle.
Yeah. Cena went to put Ryback up in the AA. They're on the stage now at this point. Ryback reverses, picks him up, and like runs through like the, I don't know what it's called, like
the screen.
The screen. Have you seen?
I saw the still photos.
Yeah, and I have one here. So they go
that's
through
the one I saw. That's
there's
awesome.
Sparks. No one knows what's happening because there's no cameras back there.
Mm-hmm.
It's black for a while. They go to the back. They're on like some scaffolding or something, and Cena's lying across it, and he falls through it, and Ryback's getting like helped away by a referee. The match is a no contest,
which Andy called.
Yeah, with the no. Well, you have to answer a 10 count.
Yeah,
Andy said the Shield would come out, lay out both of them, they each get the 10 count.
Mm-hmm.
There was no count.
No count at all. So you have a pay-per-view that has an I Quit match that ends initially with no one saying I quit, and now you have a last man standing match with no count.
With no count. It was the most bizarre thing. I'm like, well, who won? You know, like...
Where was the ref positioned at this point?
He was on the stage. So he jumps down off the stage and runs to the backstage, and then we get a camera in there, and they're just helping him off, and they brought him to an ambulance and stuff, and stretchered out Cena. We're like, okay, well, I saw Ryback standing. Did he win? Cena's clearly not getting up. Ryback should be champion right now.
Well, this leads me to ask then, is this the ending that they intended? Or was Cena supposed to get up and they knew he wasn't going to?
I don't know.
And so they just decided quickly to scramble?
I feel like this is I can't imagine them setting that spot up and not wanting him to go through the thing. And
yeah.
So I imagine that, and they probably had mats there ready for him, and then they cut to the back, and then they had them all scrambled out. What I don't understand, why can't you just have the ref count to 10 right there?
Yeah.
Count them both out. Okay, it makes sense.
That seems
now,
bizarre.
A no contest in a last man standing match, it just blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know the reason for that, why they wouldn't just have why they wouldn't say just, it's a draw.
Yeah.
Because it's a double whatever.
Double count it.
The other reason that makes me think that this is exactly how it was supposed to happen is right away Monday with the ambulance match challenge. Which, by the way, I think Ryback has turned a corner. I'm not going to say for sure. That promo on top of the ambulance, he looked confident and he looked like he was having fun.
Yeah.
And he wasn't trying to remember all these lines. He was just like, go out there and talk. And he looked so much more confident. And it
was kind of weird that he wanted to kill everyone in WWE.
He wanted everybody to die. And then he said at one point, he goes, this is a match where it doesn't matter if your heart's beating or not. Like, I'm pretty sure that matters.
I'm pretty sure.
Just get him in that ambulance.
Yeah. So besides the ending, I thought it was a good match for the championship. Obviously, they're going to extend the feud.
So what are you thinking at this point? You've got the Brock Triple H match coming up. Mm-hmm. Are you thinking, well, there must be something huge that's going to happen if this is going on last?
I knew the belt when it exchanged hands when I saw it wasn't the main event. I was praying that CM Punk would come back during the Brock match. He did not. What happened was they had it was a really good match. They had a new cage, they said, but it looked very similar.
So it was just the fence?
It was a fence, okay. Yeah. And early in the match, Brock went for like a flying knee. Triple H got out of the way. Brock Lesnar nails his knee against the cage.
Did you do the Peter Griffin?
Yeah. Yeah, he did. For the rest of the match, he could barely even walk. Like he went for an F5 and he's like hopping like the Karate Kid. And so he played it up really good. And Triple H is climbing the cage at one point. And he gets this wry smile on his face, and everyone's like, "What's going on?" He had painted his sledgehammer to like blend in with the cage. And he pulls it out, and the crowd goes nuts. He misses. Brock gets him F5, hits him with the sledgehammer. Another F5, hopping on one leg for the pin. Really good match. I liked it a lot. And Brock just looks like a monster. Triple H was out. Like, he was out after the sledgehammer, and then he gave him an F5 just to show, like, guess what, motherfucker? You're down. And then they played it up on Raw, as you saw. So that's how the pay-per-view went off the air. They had a little bit of the post-show as well. Instead of just going to black, they cut to Titus
O'Neil,
Mick Foley, a couple of Wade Barrett, and some girl.
So Titus O'Neil, he called out Sheamus on that post-match or post-game thing, right?
I don't know. I think we were chatting about what we just watched. I didn't really pay attention.
Okay.
But I could see that happening.
Because I saw that in one of the summaries saying he was saying Sheamus isn't as tough as he thinks he is, and then sure enough, they had a match on Monday night.
Yeah. Which was not too bad either.
No, it's true.
So yeah, really solid pay-per-view. A few things were really weird, like I said, and I was hoping for one or two more little twists in it, but really solid all around. Well worth our money. Good time. Excellent.
I'm glad to hear that. Wish I could have been there, and I'm pumped for Payback. Was there a good food spread at Andy's? 'Cause that's like that to me. That's half the battle.
Yeah, we had hot dogs, chips, and soda.
Lucky.
So not too bad. We put a little cheese on the hot dogs as well.
Damn,
yeah.
I gotta be there.
I was not feeling good the next morning though. I had to work. I had to bring my girlfriend to the bus stop at like 7 a.m. And I had like heartburn. I couldn't sleep, so I was on like 4 hours of sleep. I was starting work the next day, my first day at the job, and I almost called in sick because I thought I was going to throw up. It was bad news bears.
That's a tough start.
Yeah, it was a rough Monday.
I'm glad you're back to 100% or near 100%.
Near 100% for sure. All right, so that was Extreme Rules. We'll get into Raw. We'll try and speed up a bit. We spent 40 minutes on
Muscle
Extreme
through.
Rules.
We'll plow through this.
Yeah. So Ryback, like we were alluding to earlier, comes out, does a promo, says he's going to murder everyone in the WWE with a knife or gun or whatever he has in the back of that ambulance. What I think is really cool, that ambulance, like siren, I think would be an awesome addition to his entrance music.
It'd be just like Scott Steiner.
Exactly. And I thought it was part of the music at first. That would be so cool. I think that's really cool.
I think they could do it because they got rid of the Feed Me More.
Yeah.
I'm assuming it's because he's a heel now and that kind of plays to the crowd.
Yeah.
So they got rid of that. I could see them doing that. Wade Barrett got new music. Maybe Ryback will get new music.
Right. Barrett got new music?
He got new music on Raw, yeah. I don't think there's any words. But I like it. It's better than what he had. And I actually like what he had.
Didn't he just change music recently?
He did. He had the same lyrics, just kind of like how Ziggler did. Ziggler kind of changed his up.
Yeah.
Wade Barrett's kind of went heavier guitar.
Oh, okay.
Because the one in the WWE 13 game that you hear a million times in the regular menus.
Yeah.
That's like his older version. They had a heavier version
and now,
up until this week. And now it has... I can't even think of it right now, but I don't think it has any words. But it was pretty good.
So yeah, Ryback, really solid promo there. We had Mizuko. What does that mean? Oh, Miz and Jericho. I wrote Mizuko in my notes.
Against Fandango and Wade Barrett.
Yeah. It was really bizarre. Fandango, about halfway through the match, decides to just start dancing on the outside of the ring for no reason. They played his music.
And that was what I didn't understand. Why?
Yeah.
Why were they playing his music during the match?
It was bizarre. So
even Goldust thought that would understand.
Yeah, the bizarre. Barrett taps out to the figure four from The Miz, and Y2J dances with Summer Rae to finish up the match, and then he shows her up and like pushes her out of the way or something. I forget what he does.
That's setting up a Summer Rae Jericho feud for SummerSlam.
That'd be sweet.
Actually, I thought he was gonna SummerSlam there. Sorry, that was in poor taste, and it was just not funny.
You get the slow clap.
Just not funny.
All right. We had another Raw active poll to decide a match.
Record numbers, Matt. Record numbers. They were coming out in droves, Michael Cole says.
Yeah, to choose between R-Truth, the Great Khali, and Randy Orton. I wonder who's going to win that one.
Oh my
We'll find out later in the show here. To face Jack Swagger. It's like, do you want to see a lollipop, a cotton candy, or Stone Cold Steve Austin?
Yeah, it was awful.
Yeah.
So bad. R-Truth was ready though, just in case. I bet.
Yeah, I wish like the Khali had won.
Yeah,
like
well, they could have easily manipulated the voting. Well, it's funny because as I'm watching Raw, I see Vicky come on, start gabbing, and then I see the choices. I'm like, fast forward, and I know who that's going to.
It's just ridiculous. At least give us some options, man.
Like, make us think like maybe like Kofi Kingston could win or something like that.
Or don't even have the vote. Mm-hmm. If you're gonna make it so bullshit, like
unless their plan was to be like, let's see if this thing works. Let's just test it.
Yeah. Last week was weird. Swagger never should win any vote, except for like maybe loser of the year at the Slammies. Team Hell No cut a promo without their belts for the first time in a long time,
which did look weird.
Yeah, and like I said, might happen. They're starting to quaffle a little bit. They might need Dr. Shelby back if they want to keep this going, but I bet they lose again and break up in the future.
I think that's probably your next feud.
Yep. Sheamus took on... I wrote Darren Young, but that's not right. It was Titus O'Neil.
Titus O'Neil with Darren Young present.
Yeah. Sheamus, it was actually a solid match. I knew that Titus probably wouldn't win this match, but he looked pretty solid, and Sheamus hits him with a bro kick for the win. Just a solid match. Yeah, it was okay. It was better. It was better than I expect for Titus Young, Titus O'Neil. Titus Young, the football player, second week in a row that we referenced that. But he looks sloppy sometimes. Sometimes he goes right when he should go left. Yeah. Well, he's really green. Yeah, he used to be a football player, I believe. Mm-hmm. And it shows a couple times when he's in there. But Sheamus made do with what he had, and Titus O'Neil, I think, since his promo with Cena has been... I love the guy. Yeah. I love him. He wasn't great on the pre-show or the post-show, actually, which I was disappointed. I thought he could have a chance to shine, but... Mm-hmm. Did he mention wash rags? Not that I heard. Oh. Yeah, I know. He's got to bring that back. He should come out with wash rags, like, I don't know, in his knickers. You know what bothers me is... all these references to the app and encouraging people to watch. Oh, look, watch the Bellas watching a match while this match goes on. And now with everything going on with the new Xbox One that was revealed yesterday and everything, they're encouraging you to, well, during an NFL game, you can go to this screen and you can watch Peyton Manning break down coverage and all this stuff. I just... Again, like as I've been saying... Let me just watch a football game. Yeah, and the last couple weeks, as I've been saying... I've kind of started to get away from that. I want to go back to the singular, okay, I'm just doing this. I'm just looking at one screen right now. I'm afraid that is going to become old news. Yeah. And that people are going to go, what do you mean you only watch one screen? Yeah. Well, I have a tough time. I have to be honest. I can't just play a video game without having a movie on my computer at the same time. And while that's going on in between, like, loading screens, I'm checking my fantasy baseball. Are you serious? On my phone. Yeah, I don't know if you're kidding. You watch a movie while playing video games? Yeah. Well, I'll have something on my computer. I'll be watching it. And I'll be playing, like, baseball. Wow. As far as I can go is listening to music while playing a game, maybe with the volume down or off. It's usually a movie I've seen before. But I think we're gonna see a day now where it's like your remote control has a screen, your TV has a screen, your phone, you have a controller like for a game, and I mean, I don't know. Yeah. Sometimes I like just. That's why I like the theater experience. That's true. I love going to theater. I did not check Twitter at all during Raw. Of course, I was behind a bit, but. I didn't check Twitter at all Monday night after Raw even. I was tweeting a lot on Sunday. I was hoping you would pick up on some of that. I would have, but the place I was sitting in, because I saw you tweet Joe Hansen's reaction, and I wanted to read it, and I wanted to retweet it, and where I was like sitting in a bomb shelter. I had like no reception to do anything, so I was like, and I was with 4 other people, and I would have felt rude being on there longer, trying to troubleshoot it, so I was like, I'll do it later. Yeah. Speaking of all the social media, Kevin Jonas from the Jonas Brothers was the social media ambassador for Raw. Oh my goodness. I have no idea what the fuck that even means. Like, he just tweets about Raw that night? Well, you've seen that when Charlie Sheen was, and then they've had
other people who I can't even remember.
But why?
Now. I don't know. The only thing I can figure is that Kevin Jonas's representation said, "Hey, we'd like to partner up and get Kevin Jonas some airtime." And
I'm not doing anything tonight. I'll make 10 grand.
Yeah, and that way people can get him in the mind, like maybe he's working on a new album or he's on a show, but that way people will Google him or search for him during that time. And
How much do you think WWE pays for that? For like 8 tweets about
25 grand? Do you think? I mean, I don't know.
That's a big payday.
That's just completely
I don't know.
BS. I mean, I have no idea.
Can you imagine? I mean, I hate seeing them too, because you'll be on Twitter and they'll be retweeted by like the WWE universe.
Yeah.
And it's so obvious that they've never watched wrestling in their lives, or if they have, it was like 19 years ago when Hogan was running wild on you, brother. And they're like, boy, this Sheamus guy sure needs a tan. You're like, what is this adding to my experience here?
And if anything, it's embarrassing when people who know the product, I think they addressed that like 3 years ago with Sheamus or 4 years ago. So it makes them look bad that, oh, here's a celebrity who doesn't watch wrestling.
Yeah. Let's see him tweet about our show, like see what he has to say. I don't know. It's bizarre. Many bizarre things with WWE. This is just amongst them.
I think this era of WWE program will be one that they especially look back on in years from now and say, what were we thinking? Or just like, wow, we tried a lot of shit and some of it worked and a lot of it didn't.
Yeah.
That's what we're going to see with this social media stuff, with how it's being incorporated into this. I mean, okay, we'll give them an A for effort, but I mean, some of this stuff just should be abandoned quicker than it is.
Yeah, I agree. Paul Heyman comes out, says he's got a new Paul Heyman guy. I was pretty pumped for this.
Mm-hmm.
Turns out to be Michael McGillicuddy himself. Is it Joe Hennig?
Joe Hennig. And it's Hennig. Like, I remember Kurt Hennig went by Kurt Henning.
Yeah.
When he was Mr. Perfect, Kurt Hennig, and they spelled it N-G, like I-N-G.
Yeah.
But it's I-G. It's Hennig.
Joe Hennig, Michael McGillicuddy, now known as Kurt Axel.
Yeah. Kurt Axel.
Which takes Kurt from Kurt Hennig.
Mm-hmm.
Axel from his grandfather?
Yeah, Larry the Axe Hennig.
Larry the Axe Hennig.
Yeah.
Hennig. Whatever.
Because and I didn't realize that there was a difference until Kurt Hennig was in WCW and he went by Kurt Hennig. And I'm like, there's no NG there. So, you know how WWE changes that, how they change Batista from Batista and whatever. So it's to make people, you know, like, who can't spell look like they can spell correctly because they just spell it that way. So, I knew right away. As soon as I saw Curtis Axel, I'm like, he's got the dad and grandpa's names. And Joe Hennig's middle name is Curtis.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't know.
So it's a little closer than Michael McGillicuddy, which is a total cop-out. And I remember in an earlier episode saying, on NXT Season 2, they said, he's taking his mother's maiden name. McGillicuddy was not his mom's maiden name.
It's just BS. Yeah. So I was excited to see what was going to happen here. Triple H couldn't let this new superstar get off the ground before he came out with a shovel, saying that, you know what, I'm gonna fight you, and then he slaps him and makes him look like a little bitch.
Mm-hmm.
So, I didn't really mind that because Triple H is gonna have a match tonight. Cool, main event: Kurt Axel versus Triple H. Not a bad start for Mr. Hennig.
Mm-hmm.
We'll get to that later.
Problem I had with that promo is that Axel didn't get any offense in. That slap to me was what should have happened is right after he said the game has changed, he should have just attacked Triple H and that's it. And then put him down. And then have him be the one to say, we're having a match tonight, I'll prove it to you. And then have Triple H do the same lead in where the doctor's like, yeah, you can't wrestle tonight, don't do it. But instead it's Triple H being the bully saying, I'm having that match, blah, blah, blah. To me, that would have been better, but of course we can't have Triple H make somebody else look good.
No, not at all. We had another match right after this promo. It was Alberto Del Rio versus Big E Langston, and Big E won. I was very surprised by that, especially since Del Rio won the number one contenders match. We'll forgive the dog barking.
We have a special guest, my dog Mo.
Yep. Say hello, Mo.
Hey Mo.
Hey, Mo. Okay.
I was pleased with that match. One, just from a quality standpoint, and from the result. To get that eye gouge in on Del Rio and that be enough to put him down.
Well, AJ tossed Ricardo Rodriguez's bucket across the ring. It was enough to get the ref going like, what the you know?
And even distract Del Rio.
Yeah, and Big E poked him in the eye or gouged his eye, hits him with the what is it called?
What is he? I was just going to ask you what he calls that thing. I don't know.
The Big E sandwich. I don't know.
The Big E drop. The Big E plex.
Yeah.
I just throw plex at the end of something if I don't know what it is.
Sounds right. So yeah, it was cool. Maybe Big E is going places.
I like this because I think it's what you said, that he can stake a claim. He defeated the number one contender for the title. He now can say, I have a right to fight for that title. Now let's see if they take it to the next step. If Ziggler can't compete, will they have Langston represent him?
I think that'd be the way to go.
And we'd be looking at, we're looking at already 2 weeks off of TV, and if we get into the next pay-per-view, we're looking at least 5 weeks of the World Heavyweight Champion off TV. I could see them saying, all right,
someone's got to defend it.
The belt has to be put up. And if they do it that way, that can lead to a number of things. It can lead to a feud between Langston and Ziggler, or it could lead to a solidification of their relationship and their partnership, saying, this guy kept this title going for me. And a number of things can happen.
They could vacate it, put Big E in that match, have Big E win it, and Ziggler never lost it.
And that reminds me of two things. That reminds me of the Cena Punk belts when they did that, and also
Razor Ramon, Shawn Michaels.
Yes, and when CM Punk was World Heavyweight Champion for the first time, and he was beaten up by Orton in the prior to the championship scramble, and Jericho ended up winning the championship, and then later on, CM Punk as a heel confronted a babyface Orton. And they got that feud going. So they could do a number of things.
Yeah, I think it'd be really good. Next match we had was Layla versus AJ. It was Layla, right?
It was Layla, and she looked all right.
Yeah.
Both, she looked all right as a wrestler and physically.
Well, of course.
The creepy moment of the night.
AJ wins with the Black Widow submission again.
I'm loving that one.
My favorite part of the submission is how the girls have to tap out by spanking AJ's ass. That's the best part of the entire thing. That's all we have to say about that match. Yes. Ryder versus Rhodes. Rhodes wins with a disaster kick, not even his regular finisher, so that was kind of cool.
Kind of cool, except
Ryder
that it
keeps
was
the streak alive.
Ryder going down to a disaster kick.
Yep.
It was a good that is a good finisher. I'm glad they used that for the finish.
That didn't end the misery for Zack Ryder as Ryback came out, put him in his wambulance, and drove off after a shell shock or two.
I can't help but think Zack Ryder is being punished for all of his stuff.
Yeah.
You want your TV time? Well, you're getting your TV time.
Yeah.
Tell you what, you'll get 10 minutes tonight. 10 minutes? Really? Awesome. Yeah, you're going to lose in 3 minutes, and then for 7 minutes, you're going to get the piss kicked out of you by Ryback.
And then Kane's going to come out and push you on the stage and have a cast next week.
Oh, man.
We had another awesome match. Shield versus Hell No and Kofi Kingston. Shield barely escaped with a win in this match, actually.
Terrific match. One side thing I got from this, Kofi Kingston
can go.
I think he can be a main eventer. Yeah, I'm serious. It might be a leap. You might think that's a leap, but the guy, I think he needs to be repackaged a bit. Get rid of his music. Give him new music. Because that music right there, it's fun, happy, and that, he lost that gimmick long ago.
Yeah.
Give him new music. I think you've got yourselves a main eventer. You throw him in a title match, and get him on a little winning streak. Throw him on a title match on a pay-per-view or something, and people, I think, will be pleasantly surprised.
I think his absolute ceiling would be a one-time World Heavyweight Champion if, everything went well. His character took off. I just don't see him going any further than that.
I see that scenario as something they would or will do to him. But to me, if you give this guy a chance, he can main event. I guarantee it. I guarantee it. That's what you're supposed to say.
Guarantee you. Have a beer. Drink another beer.
Give me a hell yeah.
What?
I want to see him. I say I.
Right into the mic. Nice. Okay. So awesome match again. They had that big spot with Kofi and Daniel Bryan. They timed it perfectly. They went off the ropes and they both flew, hitting members of S.H.I.E.L.D., slamming them against the barricades. Really awesome. I was like, whoa. I watched that like 3 times.
Tremendous match. Love when those guys are in the ring.
Yep.
And I'm pumped to see who S.H.I.E.L.D. feuds with beyond Hell No.
Well, I think we're going to stop seeing the 3-on-3 matches.
You stop that right now.
I'm just saying.
All right. Are we going to see outfit changes? I mean, because I was thinking on Monday night, I'm like, because I'm about the outfit changes.
Yeah.
I was thinking ahead, okay, now 2 years from now, are we going to see like one of them stuck in the mid card or something like that? And are they going to get a chance to actually like wear their gear, or are they just going to be putting these big boss man outfits, big boss man circa 1999?
Maybe they'll come out dressed as Big Boss Man from 1994 with the cop suit,
mild mannered mall security,
yeah,
boss man.
Mountie, they could be cops from around the world. Mountie, a policeman,
a London Bobby.
Yeah, there you go. Be sweet. Our next match,
print it,
was Jack Swagger versus the winner of our Raw Active Pull, Randy Orton.
Shocker.
Didn't
he have like 72%?
I think it was like 99%. Yeah, but they skewed the numbers.
Yeah,
so it didn't look at
it was awful.
Good match. Orton wins again against Jack Swagger. So another big win for Orton.
I thought the result was doubtful going into it. I thought, are they going to have Swagger lose again on Monday after the pay-per-view? But right now, Orton's that hot guy that they're going to end up, having. I think, I don't know if he's going to end up, like I said, being injected into that World Heavyweight Championship feud or WWE title feud. But I think he can be that guy, because you pointed out last week, for a while it was Orton and Cena. Those were the two guys, and I think it's time for Orton again.
Yeah, it's been too long.
Way too long.
But almost 3 years.
Although for a while though, it was good that he was out of it when he was doing his like a little feud with Wade Barrett. That was fine, but it's time.
I loved his feud with Christian.
Yeah.
But even that wasn't like. It was for the World Heavyweight Championship.
Yeah, I mean, the title changed hands on SmackDown, and that was kind of disappointing because Christian had just won it.
2 minutes earlier.
And then 2 days later, you find out that, Randy Orton won.
And that was bullshit, too, because out comes freaking, hey, player, we're going to decide who takes on Christian tonight for the World Heavyweight Championship. Like, okay, why is someone getting the World Heavyweight Championship tonight? It was like the Raw Active Pull. It's like, all right, fans, you cheer for who you want Christian to take on tonight, and it's like Hornswoggle.
Oh.
Boo. Okay, freaking R-Truth. How about Randy Orton? Yeah. And Christian's like, come on.
How about Teddy Orton's Teddy Orton? Teddy Long's Triple X suits.
What is it?
Have I said? No, I mean like size-wise. He looks like that kid at the end of Big. Like with the suit that's
like
too
when
huge
he shrunk back down.
My suit's too big.
Yeah. Looks like his dad borrowed it too.
Oh, Teddy Long, I hope you listen to this, and I hope you get a new wardrobe.
Hold up, that player. We're going to turn this into a tag team match.
Oh, I liked him better as a ref.
Yeah.
Theodore Long, Teddy Long.
So that just leaves our main event for Raw, and Triple H versus Michael McGillicuddy, or Kurt Axel.
Or Curtis Axel.
I actually wrote McGillicuddy.
Like the Tron video said Kurt Axel, but then the Raw intro said Curtis Axel. And
really?
They're calling him Curtis Axel.
Huh.
This didn't. Again, Triple H should have gotten the piss kicked out of him. The way this ended with Triple H having some kind of like health episode,
it was weird.
Didn't like it.
No,
felt incomplete.
And I'm like, I didn't know if it was real or not, because it was just seemed so bizarre to end Raw with like Triple H just like bug-eyed and like not.
The announcers aren't talking.
Yeah, they had their serious voice on,
and you have this guy who's supposed to be this, here's your next big star, and then he's not attacking Triple H. Yeah. He's just because I think Triple H did the spine buster, and then he taunted, and then he like kind of like had some kind of reaction to it by being out of breath, or
maybe he's allergic to Kurt Axel.
Maybe it's very possible. I think he's supposed to have
allergic to terrible names.
He's supposed to have an Axel-free diet, and he's in trouble now.
Yeah, I thought it was if it is an angle. I still don't know if it was real. I'm sure it was an angle though.
Oh, of course it was.
Yeah, I'm just saying it might not have been. I'm 99% sure.
Come on, they had that thing in the middle of the show where the doctor said he can't compete.
I know. I'm sure it's an angle. But if it isn't, I don't want to be the jerk who's like, you dumbass. I'm just covering my bases, is what I'm saying. I thought it was an odd angle to have, given that Jerry the King Lawler had an episode where he almost died on Raw.
But they've done
just months earlier.
But you're talking about a company that mocked the real life death of one of their former employees by having an urn full of his ashes.
True.
You're also talking about the Lawler incident, which was mocked openly by Punk and Heyman.
The Punk thing, obviously we knew that he wasn't having a heart attack. I mean, clearly
Heyman could have.
Well,
or was it Heyman who had the heart attack, or was it
either
Punk?
one? They were so over the top with my heart, I'm having a heart attack. Okay, everyone knew it was fake.
Yeah.
This one, he looked like he was really going through something. It was like, I don't know where the hell.
It's because he's such a good actor. Haven't you seen Blade Trinity?
He's in Blade Trinity?
Yeah. You kidding me?
What's that one movie?
I will give you Blade Trinity tonight and you will watch it. The Chaperone.
I liked Blade 2. I didn't like the other Blade.
Triple H is not in Blade 2, so therefore it's not as good.
No.
He's in Blade Trinity.
Hellboy's in Blade 2.
He's not in Triple H is not in Hellboy.
You're messing.
Ron Perlman?
Ron Perlman, yeah.
The Chaperone is the movie you're thinking of.
The Chaperone. I can just see the cover with him like...
I'm just so... All I have to say is I'm glad Triple H cut his hair. He looks so much better with short hair. Shawn Michaels, take note. Yeah. Shave your head. I don't care what is left or what isn't left. Shave your head.
Just let it go, man.
Dun, 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 dun. Oh,
yeah. Oh. Not 25 anymore.
Oh, it's gross. All the long hair wrestlers should...
Billy Gunn?
Heath Slater, Billy Gunn, I hate to say it, but yeah, it's time for it to go. What other long-haired wrestlers can we think of right now? Current wrestlers that should cut their hair. Drew McIntyre, long overdue for a haircut. Yeah. He looks awful.
I don't even think of him as a wrestler anymore.
Yeah, true.
Kofi?
Chosen one. Kofi... he has it braided though.
Yeah.
Braided hair is a little different. Like if he was just rocking it like straight long, that'd be weird. Like he would need a cut. But
there aren't many long hair guys anymore, are there?
It's not the style anymore, man.
Oh, Roman Reigns.
Yeah,
he wets it down. He's got a thick mane of hair.
He can have that with his beautiful blue eyes. Yeah. He can have whatever hair he wants.
Yeah, for sure. So that was Raw. Really, really odd Raw. Where do you think Triple H is going from here?
I could see him now. Before we answer that, is Brock going to come back for SummerSlam, or is this going to be until WrestleMania?
I'm sure he'll be at SummerSlam.
Okay. With Triple H, I think what this will lead to is an angle where Stephanie or someone intervenes and says, "Look, you can't do this anymore. You said it was going to be Brock, and that was it." And it's going to be maybe him trying to prove to himself he can still compete. And I think eventually he'll just kind of do the corporate thing. I want to see him on TV. I like him as a character, but I don't want him burying people, and I want him as a heel authority figure. I mean,
we talked about predictions sure to go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
How about this? This is setting up. You can't wrestle anymore. He wants that one more match, though. He wants to go out on top. I can't wrestle anymore.
Don't you dare say it. Keep going. That would be sweet. I thought you were going to say
WrestleMania 30.
That'd be great. I thought you were going to say another Undertaker match.
No.
But why then wouldn't they set that up at WrestleMania 29? That would have been sweet to tease that.
Yeah, I agree. I thought we'd see it. But I could see Shawn coming out saying, you need to be done. I'm going to end this for you like Undertaker ended it for me. Mm-hmm. It was my time, now it's yours.
Now, can I say, when Triple H stopped wrestling regularly, like they kept saying, it's the first time he's wrestled on Raw in 3 years, I don't know if that's something you want to advertise, number one. And number two, when he stopped wrestling on a regular basis, I thought he stopped too soon. Now, I don't know if he stopped in order to help raise the kids, because they have 3 kids now, he and Stephanie. Mm-hmm. And that probably is a big reason why. But when he quit being a regular... Excuse me. No, I have hiccups.
I know.
I thought he quit too soon. At one time, I thought it would be impossible for him to not pass Ric Flair's championships record. Mm-hmm. And now, with him still, I think he's been on 13 for like 4 years. Or whatever it is.
Still 3 away.
I just thought there's no way we wouldn't break it.
It's like Tiger with Jack Nicholson's record.
He quit too soon, and I still think he's in tremendous shape, and he's gotten in better shape in the last year for these matches that he's had.
I don't think he'll ever be WWE champion again.
Ever?
Ever.
Vince McMahon had the title once. You don't think a boss Triple H will have it once? A regular competing champion, no.
Yeah.
No, he won't be a regular competing champion.
He might get one of those cheap ass, but I don't think... He loves the business too much to realize like that's bullshit.
But he's still good enough, though. He's believable as champion. That's the thing.
I think after The Rock, his reign...
But that's true. And before Ric Flair rejoined WWE... Before WCW was purchased, Triple H was on a radio show, and he said, I will never be that old guy in the ring like Ric Flair, which I found funny because and I think he may even said something like old and broken down. That's why when they became buddies in Evolution, I got a kick out of that, because I remember him saying that about Ric Flair a couple of years before, and maybe he's holding himself to that he's not going to be that guy who continues to wrestle year after year after year. And he has no reason to. He has a future. He has a future in wrestling in another position. Mm-hmm. So there's no need for him to. The good thing, though, is that he physically looks like he belongs still. So that's cool. I could see a match at 30 with Shawn Michaels. I still don't know if Shawn Michaels will have a match. Although... That's
the number one question, but I think it would be a perfect storyline.
It was 2 or 3 years ago. I think it was 3 years ago when I talked to Ric Flair. And I asked him if he thought... It was around the time Michaels retired. Mm-hmm. And I asked him if he thought that Michaels would come back, and he said he thinks he'll have one more match, and it will be at a pay-per-view. And he said, other than that, he said he knows that Shawn enjoys retirement, enjoys his family, and that's, I think, clear that he is and does. But maybe Flair's right. Maybe Michaels will have that one match.
It'd be a perfect ending for Triple H as a wrestler, if that's the way he wants to go out, if he wants to go out at this time. That I can't imagine a better storyline for him to go out. Shawn on top.
And that's the only way I see Michaels going back on his word against the having his last match be against the Undertaker. That's the only way he'll do it.
I really don't think the Undertaker would mind.
Oh, I'm sure not.
No, they had their classic matches. People are always going to remember those. People are going to remember that moment when Shawn retired. I don't think it hurts those matches at all to have that one more match against... I mean, they've been linked forever, Triple H and Shawn. To have that one final match, it wouldn't hurt the legacy for me. I don't think it hurt it for Undertaker as well.
Especially if Undertaker was involved. What if he's the ref?
I want the ref, the Undertaker as the ref. No, I don't want to see that.
He's undefeated as a referee.
Never
And
mind.
I just turned into a bad Jim Ross.
Oh god. All right. Well, we kind of went off track here talking about Triple H's career, but that was Raw, and we're 4 weeks until our next pay-per-view.
I'm jacked up, man. I can't wait to watch it at Andy's. Eat some hot dogs and Doritos.
Heck yeah.
Sit next to you.
Yep.
It's going to be fun.
Yeah, we'll be tweeting out.
We'll be tweeting like crazy.
Yeah.
And let us know what you thought of the pay-per-view. I'm glad to hear that it seemed like one that people got their money's worth. I hope Payback has a title change. I want to see a WWE title change. You think we'll get it?
No.
Okay, well, I'm still going to hope.
Yeah.
Still want to see it.
All right, thanks, guys. Be sure to follow us on Twitter, at Immortals PCast, at 97Bush, at Jimmy Bellamy. Check out our blog. Thank you to Joe Hansen for our coverage for Extreme Rules.
The Joe Hansen.
The Joe Hansen. Is that his Twitter handle?
Yep, The Joe
At
Hansen.
The Joe Hansen.
And it's SEN on Hansen.
Yep. So check him out. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, whatever you want. All right, until next time.
Take care.
Peace.